Welcome back to the Wise Guys Live. I'm here still with my brother, Jon McLeod, and we are currently talking about mental health and POC culture. My brother, Jon, to kind of backtrack and get you connected to where you once were, you were connecting the Bible and spirituality with social media and how nowhere in the Bible it says what? Continue.
So I was saying basically nowhere in the Bible does it say that God didn't want you to be successful, was my point.
Mhm.
The things that hinder our success are the things that influence us. Hence the term influencers. You get to decide what influences you. Now, the idea behind social media being the distraction is completely in your control. I've seen so many people. Grant Cardone is a good hype experience guy. I call him because he says you guys are using social media to scroll and look at other people. I'm using social media to make six figures, and he does crazy things on social media, in which is he uses it to further his business and he does amazing things with it, and he's a multimillionaire. The thing is, it's a tool. Some people
Right.
use tools to destroy their lives and the houses and the things that they built. Some people use tools to build up their dreams and what they want to do with it. So it doesn't have to be a distraction, but it can also be a tool. And that's the thing, is perspective. How do people look at it? How do people look at it? How do people view you is one of the things that we get caught up in when it comes to mental health. And then one of the things that is like the topic for tonight is mental health in the POC in the POC world, with people of color. The thing is, we get so, and it hurts me to say this, but it's absolutely true, and it happens in other cultures. I don't want to say it just POC culture, but we get caught up in the this is what this looks dope. Oh, they got cars and girls and money.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Let's do that. Okay, how do I achieve that? When I think my opinion is we should be focused on, okay, what are the resources? What is the process that they use in order to sustain that? The question is, how are they sustaining that? I've been blessed to have conversations with CEOs and presidents of companies, and the one thing they're always focused on is transformation, elevation. Those two things combined. But the biggest thing is sustainability. Okay, if we do something, can we sustain it?
Mm-hmm.
And then can we grow it?
Right.
Is it something that we can do? And that's the thing. We get caught up. Like I'm big on teaching my kids. Okay, if you love this so much, buy it. Don't spend your time giving your money to somebody else. Make it work for you.
Right.
And then you won't have to work for somebody else. I'm spending my time digesting education. I'll be honest with you, I learned 10 times more outside of school than I ever did in school.
Me too.
But was school required? Yes, it was. Did I need it? Yes, I did. But I'm seriously invested in mental health in the communities of people of color, because I think we have to destroy it in every way. We have to burn it to the ground, that stigma that says that we cannot have the conversation. We have to stop that. Kev, we have to stop it. It is important because we are destroying ourselves and our abilities to be successful simply because we won't deal with one specific issue. We have to stop not having a conversation about why you're upset that your dad never came back. We have to stop talking about why you're so upset that your mom is forcing you to do what she did. We have to stop this conversation of like, I'm hurt by this, and I don't deal with this family member because of this, and not ever having a conversation, because we take that and we apply those same rules that life taught us with that moment, and we plaster it all across everywhere we go. It's like a trail of blood that's just following us. And our community is bleeding out simply because we won't have a conversation about what's going on up here. It's not as, a lot of times it's not as bad as it can be if we just said, look, this is how I received that. What you said is this is how I received it. Because we say, well, hold on. This person said what to me? Time out. I've done this, this, and this. There's no way they should ever. But we don't even know that person X just had gotten into a fight with their family. Just went through a divorce. Just is about to. So many things going on in each person's individual life that it really is very, very, very dangerous that we don't sit down and say, look, here's what's bothering me.
Yeah.
How do we understand each other is a huge, huge question that I always ask. It's not about the problem. It's how do we fix the problem? We spend too much time focusing on what the problem is and how the problem came to be. How do we fix it?
You're absolutely right. And you know why, correct me if I'm wrong, you know why I feel as if we can't sort out the problem or we just can't pinpoint it, especially in the Black community, is because we've been so ingrained to operate in organized chaos and dysfunction for so long that we don't even realize that as a community, as a Black family, as a dynamic within our family structure, our lineage, we operate in chaos. We call our loved ones just to talk gossip, just to see what's going on, just to see how this person. And I'm not saying that to say as if, you know, white people or people of other races don't do that too, but it seems to be a source of knowledge, not knowledge, a source of energy that we feed into. We feed off of negativity. We love it. We love the thrill of negativity. We love the thrill of jealousy, or, you know, to gloat in each other's face and show what we don't, what the other person might have or might not have, or whatnot. And we bring that oftentimes in our community amongst ourselves, and it's crazy. Or we hide opportunities from each other. And I know you know that, working in the corporate space, you know, being a fellow brother such as myself or yourself working in the corporate space, a lot of young brothers who are around our age who may get to work with us, you know, they may be looking for opportunities, and there may be someone who's our senior, maybe not by much, let's say 38, 39, 40. They just got there. They don't want to relinquish anything that they've learned because they're like, he's a threat to me. I'm not going to teach him everything I know because I worked so hard to be here, and I'd rather have this moment all to myself. I want to be tokenized. I want to be with, and I want to swim within the pool of excess, because we've been marginalized for so long that it can only be a few of us at the top of the pillar at certain points of time, man. It's crazy.
You said something so heavy. The mentality of the broken. You said something so heavy. It is insane the amount of people I've had conversations with that give me vague. In the beginning, they gave me vague answers as to, well, and I'm talking about brothers. And I'm not just talking about Black brothers. I'm talking about Spanish brothers I went to. I don't just choose my people to talk to because the perspective is bigger than people that look like me. If I want to get to a certain area, specifically speaking about in the professional world. Now, when I'm telling you, what you just said was so heavy, is because I heard a man tell me to my face, I can't tell you that because you're not going to come and take my job. And I sat there and was just, I said, who said I wanted your job? And he said to me, he goes, young buck, you don't know how this world works. And I said, it's not the way the world works. It's how you're choosing to work in the world. But it's okay. I'll see you again. That same person does not have a job now because they did the same thing to somebody else. And the biggest thing they threw at that man because he didn't listen was that we're letting you go because of your inability to be a team player. To see, the thing is, success is not something that is directed at one type of people.
Mm.
It's not directed at one person, one type of people, one type of no, no, no. Everybody can be successful if you choose to be.
Mm.
Now, what you're successful at is determined by you. You can be successful at being nothing.
Mm.
You can be successful at being a president of something. You can be successful at being a business owner. You can be a successful janitor if that was your goal. The question is, what does success really mean? It is saying you're going to do something and actually doing it. That's what it means. It is not what people think of you. It is not what people put together and say, here is what we define as success. And social media will do that to you. 1.4 million followers will tell you that you are a success. When you have zero to competition, who are you lifting up? And the only time you lift somebody up is if you're partnering with them to help build your brand.
Mm.
And I'm not speaking against partnerships and building brand, but my thing is this. I can't tell you how many people that I would say, like, wow, they got to great levels in their lives, and then they turn around and they refuse to help anybody. Well, how did you do this in the beginning? Oh, well, no, it takes this and this, but like, what were your specific processes that led you to, man, it would take me too long to go through all of that. And you in your head, I'm just looking at them like, you can say, look, if people get upset, I've had people tell me, people that are very, very successful, tell me, you need to stop giving away your secret sauce. That's a bad habit you have. And I'm like, well, why is it a bad habit? He said, because you're empowering somebody to beat you. I said, let me ask you a question. Do you know another Jon McLeod? Like, no, but that's not the point. I said, no. Do you know somebody that looks like me, talks like me, breathes like me, moves like me, acts like me, has done the things that I do, believe what I believe? Have you met that guy yet? Where is he?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, obviously there's only going to be one you. And I cut them off. I said, if there is only one me, then I can only be me. No matter what I give to the person, they can only emulate and do it their way.
Okay.
You are not going to lose by helping somebody. You're not going to lose by giving away the resources or your experiences.
Mm.
You're going to gain. I've helped so many people, and I wasn't even, in my opinion, I wasn't even successful.
Mm.
When I was first starting out in real estate, I never forget, I helped this young guy, and he was a go-getter. Just like, I love to do, because I'm a go-getter. So when I see somebody else like me that's younger, that's like, let's get it, let's go, doesn't even matter, I don't care what happened, oh well, let's move on to the next one type of thing. I was all for it. I helped him I hadn't gotten anything yet. The young dude, I think he was about 17 or 18 years old, and this was a few years back, and he closed the deal that got him $20,000, and I had zero. And I said to myself, that is so dope for him. I was so proud. And you know what? What hurt my heart the most is he turned around and was like, yeah, I got this now. I'm good. Didn't want to listen anymore. Didn't want, like, hey, brother, you shouldn't do that. This has made a lot of bad decisions and destroyed himself and had to come back. And I just said to him, like, man, like, it was almost like, yeah, I'm up now. I'm good. I made it. I'm sorry, I don't got time. I know you poured into me, but I gotta go. Success is calling me. And right. I say to myself, like, all right, I can't do anything about the way that person thinks. That's his life. That he's decided to, this is what he's gonna do with his life. I'll move on. But I'm saying that to say that for free, if you're really about success, if you're really about your own success and other success in general, it doesn't matter who is happening. If you can help somebody, then you are successful. If you
Mm,
help push somebody else, you're not going to be here for long anyway.
right,
What are you holding on to?
right.
I tell my wife and my family this. The reason why I'm going to be wealthy and so my family don't have to worry about finances is because I cannot pass my son my job at ESPN.
Mm,
I cannot. It's not a succession right thing. It's not in the contract. I cannot say he's the next person coming up when I'm done. If I don't map out a blueprint for him and my daughter, they're gonna have to start from scratch like I did. So now I'm gonna work my butt off so that they don't have to start from scratch. They can start with a head start
yes,
because I know what started from scratch looks like.
yes.
I know what being around people that don't know what being wealthy and is about.
Hmm.
So if I have to read the books, if I have to go have the conversations, if I have to go, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to let society tell my kids to tell me that this is what life has for you. Take it. That's it. Next. No. And we have to stop letting social media dictate what our lives are going to be. We have to stop looking at other people's lives and their forms of success in their lives and comparing it to ourselves and saying that, Dad, I have to do more. What are you going to do more of? And why are you going to do more? For what? What is your why?
Mm.
What is the point of you doing this? Who is it for? My why are the three people in the next room. My beautiful wife and my beautiful kids. That's my why. That's why I work my butt off. That's why I fall in love with the process. That's what I do it for. Social media sometimes gives you that hope of you can be anything you want as long as you act fake, you express your body, or you do something very specific really, really, really well. And if it works for you, then do that. But for the other 99% that can't do that and they're following that, I speak to them and say, be yourself. Be great at whoever you are. Because you're going to waste your time chasing somebody else's great ability and forget and don't even notice yours.
Right.
I've met so many people that want to be great in front of the camera, but they're phenomenal editors.
Hmm.
And I said, you know, you don't have to be in front, but no, I have a lot to say, and it's just every time I get up, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right because you're not supposed to be doing it.
Right, it's true.
So that's what I'm saying, Kev. Like, you have to exist in your best version of yourself, and a lot of times God will show it to you.
Mm,
He'll throw hints at you.
true.
He'll
Very
make your vision plain to you, but we ignore it because it doesn't look as glamorous as the other people on social media.
true.
Because when you do operate in your gift and you post it, you get 3 likes, and 2 of those are from your brother and your mama. So,
Fact.
so because we don't have that validation, we don't always exist. And God is telling you, you don't need the validation when I told you yes. If
100%.
I said yes, you could do it. Why do you need validation from anybody else?
And then on top of that too, you know, you might be getting those 3 likes from your mom, your brother, your sister, or 10, 15 likes from someone else. And then somebody pops out of the woodworks and says, yo, when they see you in person, like, yo, your content has been so inspirational, yo. Like, why'd you stop? Keep going. I love it. I thank you. Or like they'll purchase your book and they're like, yo, like, I really support everything you do. I'm a huge fan of yours. And it's just like you you do it for the people it's meant to reach, you know, not to put on a facade and not to, you know, touch the masses, because the masses, are fickle. They're here one day, they're gone the next. But the
Yep.
people that it matters to, the people that God gave you the gift for, so that way it could resonate, that's
Yep.
what it's meant for.
And Kevin, you said it perfectly. Operate in the gift you're supposed to operate in so that you can affect the people that you're supposed to affect. The thing is, we want to do the things that are glamorous because the things that are glamorous will eventually get you on TV so your mama can watch you. And you can say, look, mama, I made it. I got to college and realized that I wasn't going to, there's no way I could get to the NBA. And I realized I never wanted to go to the NBA.
Mm,
I realized all I wanted a place where my family could watch me play.
mm,
That was all. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
found the league, and they came, and the family came and watched me, and I killed it. And next thing you know, I realized that's not what I wanted.
Mm.
I was like, oh, I really don't want to go to league, because when I started thinking about it, okay, do you want to be traveling all the time away from your family? Do you want to be on the road? I said, what happens when you love basketball? I can play that all day. But what about the other aspects of life that you want? What about your work for God? I asked myself. And once I realized, like, yeah, I'm never going to give that up. So, and then I said, I'm very determined. And God would say, like, no, you're not going to the NBA. And in my head, I'm saying, like, I'm going because nobody can guard me. So
Right.
if you can't guard me, you're going to want me. And in my head, it's like, bro, there are 10 million other dudes your height and taller with the same handle, with more abilities, and everybody also can't guard them. So
And
what can you do that's different?
that's crazy you say that, man, because John, for a real undersized dude, you nasty. So really,
Don't even go there. No, we had some good wars, and your jump
oh
ain't
yeah,
your jump ain't
100%.
don't even try to big me up.
No, but it's crazy because, like, again, we look at the ratios, and then we have to say, all right, we need to be realistic here. You know what I'm saying? And we need to see what are some of the things, because it happens to all of us. God is giving us signs, and He's throwing, or we're saying, like, God, give me a sign, and then He puts it right in front of your face. First subtly, then He puts it right. It's like you can't see it. It's like a barricade. You're like, where's the sign, God? Where's the sign at? It's like it's right there. You know?
It's funny. It's like that. It's like the story my dad told me when I was a kid. He's like, he was. I think I forgot he was telling it too, but he said basically, he said the storm came and they was like, sir, do you want to come with us? We're going to shore. We're going to safety. He said, don't worry about it. He said, God is going to keep me and save my life, and He's going to provide. And God sent a guy on a boat, and he said, sir, do you need some help? And he said, nope. God is going to provide. You go on ahead. I'll be all right. God is going to come and get me. I'll be all right. He said, a plane came down and said, sir, would you like some help? He said, nope. God is going to provide. He got my back. He said, the guy ended up dying. He went to heaven, and he said, Lord, what happened? He said, what you mean what happened? I sent you a boat, a plane. He said, and I sent you another thing, but you didn't take any of the things. And the thing is, we walk past the things that God set up for us all the time. The question is, you have to ask yourself, what am I good at that I'm ignoring?
Mm-hmm.
What do I do really, really well that I'm ignoring?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had to stop, and I had to think about that. I ran away from doing video production and stuff because I do it so much for work. I was like, I really don't feel like doing it outside of work. And when God would keep throwing it to me, somebody would ask, yo, do you do video outside of work? I was like, yeah, a little bit. When I got serious about it, God sent me this client, then another client, then another client. And before I knew it, I was like, you know what? Remember that wealth thing that you said you wanted? It has to start somewhere. And I walked away. I walked back to my gift. I walked away from my gift in the beginning. I walked back to my gift. I picked it up and started to use it. So the question is, to the audience, what do you all do really well that you are ignoring?
Mm-hmm.
Operate in your greatness. It means operate in the thing that you are specifically designed by God to do. What is that? And as a community, we especially the POC, we love to play basketball, football, to rap, and then all the other stuff, like the artists and the scientists, they get some love, but not as much love as if you play ball at the PAL league, or you play AAU, or you go into some school to play ball, you're going overseas. The question is this: what do you do? Not just what you do well in one aspect, because yeah, we play ball, we're nice, great, but there's other 5 million people that also play ball that are nice. And of those 5 million, there's 3 million that really take it serious to the point where they cut off everybody else to do it. And then of that 3 million, there's 1 million that says, you know what? This is all I have. And they have 4 workouts a day. And excuse me, that's actually the 1%. But you see what I'm saying? It trickles down to the bunch of people that it was designed for. We see the masses, and we see the things that we think are cool, especially on social media, and we go straight for that. and we say, like, oh, I want to do that. I grew up. Remember, I tell you, I was like, I'm gonna play ball. After I finished, my plan was this: play ball. Once I finish playing ball and I retire for however long, I'm gonna go into broadcasting, and I'm gonna be in front of the camera for a while, and then I'm gonna relax and retire. That plan was so flawed, Kev. That plan was so flawed.
A lot of our plans are, bro.
And I was determined. I had looked. I said, okay, what did Stephen A. do? Okay, yeah, he didn't make it as ball, but he did X, Y, and Z. I followed Stephen A.'s plan. He went from a writer, then he went from writing to radio, then radio to on TV, and then on TV went. And I thought that's what I wanted to do until I tried it out myself. I even told people at ESPN, well, this is what I wanted to do. And then I tried it out myself, and I realized it's not what I wanted to do. Because when I had my own show, I had 10,000 fans, and it was cool. I interviewed a lot of cool people, street ball legends, former NBA players, NFL players. And I realized after a while, I got to 100 episodes, and it wasn't what I wanted to do. I was a host. I had a following, and it was like, that's not what I wanted to do. And I realized the people in front, and this is where you start to realize the holes in your dream and what you really want to do. This is why I always ask the question, what did you do well? Because the thing that you do well is always the thing that guides you to your destiny. God puts something in your spirit, inside your mind, inside your body, and you do it very seamlessly. You could do it in your sleep. And we ignore it because, you know what, maybe it doesn't get as much limelight. And we focus on the people that do what they do well, and it gets a whole bunch of limelight, but we don't see that when the cameras are off and they're off of social media, when they're grinding over and over again to do what they do well, but in practice. So that's why I always ask the question, what is it? What is it that we do well besides shooting a ball, throwing a ball, besides rapping and lyrics, and besides what else do you do well?
Right.
How do you monetize on that?
100%, brother. 100%. Wow, brother, this has been excellent. This has been amazing. And you know how this show works because you've been on it before. So I kind of want to, head towards our final segment, which is the word to the wise, where we pick one word and then we expound upon that word, or it could be a couple of words, couple of phrases. So I think I'm gonna not, for the first time on the show, I don't think I'm gonna do a word, but I think I'm gonna do a phrase, and I'm gonna quote it. Kind of quote it, might be a bit wrong, my interpolation, but I'm going to pull scripture straight from the Bible. I think it's Proverbs 18:22. Death is in the power and the tip of the tongue, and what you speak and what you say will come to pass. So I say that to say, when it comes to, a young kid saying, I want to be successful and I want to do this, I want to do that, right? If you tell God exactly that, you have the talent to do this or that and the third, but because of like what you've been through in your life with your mother, your sister, and dysfunction in your family, you can't make a way out. If you start believing that you can, and you start saying, God, what are the initial steps that takes for me to get there? The faith with the work, right, and the prayer, and you might not get there tomorrow, you might not get there next week, you might not get there next year, but if you put in the time and, like you said, you fall in love with that process, you will eventually get there, because everything comes to pass as much as you speak it into existence. And as what you were saying, you worked for that, brother. You worked for that, and you were patient with God, and he rewarded you for your patience, for your grit, your perseverance, your determination, and your hard work. So my entire message and word to the wise today is the matter of death and life is in the power of the tip of the tongue. So watch what you speak. When you speak it, be affirmative and go out there every day and do it as if you have nothing left in order to get it. So that's my word. What's your word today as we close out? What's your word to the wise, John?
I'm going to piggyback on what you're saying is you just said, watch what you say, because what you say, your words will become life. I say, watch what you watch, because what you see will in turn be your reality. You will start to internalize that. So watch what you're putting in front of you. Watch what you're putting into your ears, what you're listening to. And it doesn't always have to be social media. It doesn't always have to be whatever app or whatever game you're playing. Focus on what makes you great. Ask yourself the question, what do I do well? And how can that help me in my future? So watch what you're watching.
That's potent. My brother, I couldn't have said it any better. So with that being said, I want to leave that there. So as you know, this is going to be a live IG. Well, this is a live IG, but this is going to be a past recorded bonus episode of content for the Wise Guys podcast. And, you know, when the time comes, Wise Community, for those of you who are on tonight, I will absolutely have the link up in my bio, and it will be posted as it normally is on DSPs. So with that being said, John, can you please leave us with your IG user handle and where people can find you online, and talk a little bit about your initiative at ESPN and how you're helping, if that's okay to wrap up?
My Instagram handle is Mr. Outworkyou. I work for ESPN. I'm an associate producer, and we created the ESPN Trust Affinity Group. It's an affinity group designed to educate employees on mental health and to destroy the stigma and having the conversation that it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to have bad days mentally, physically, and all that things, and just normalize. Just like if you have a broken arm, you treat it the same way if you're having a bad mental day. It's okay to, you know, to basically to have things fall apart and you're still and have support. So that's the group that we created to support our employees. We've been in existence for over 2 years, almost 2 years, and we don't intend to stop. We're expanding all across the country and all across the world to try to help as many employees as possible. And I encourage all those in other companies to start having the conversation with your employees about mental health, because you will in turn expand the excellence of your staff, of your family, your work family, and the people around you. It'll never hurt. It'll always help.
John, my brother, thank you for your time. Thank you once again for coming on to the Wise Guys, and thank you, brother, for always dropping gems. I feel as if like these sessions can go on a lifetime. There's so many bars every time you hop on, and your energy, your spirit is always magnetic. I don't know if I've told you this before, but again, you mean a lot to me in my life. I really look up to you and how you carry yourself as a man. And I look at, you know, how you carry yourself and watch how you move accordingly, and seeing that you're so grounded in your belief of faith and self and assurance and determination, and as well as being a selfless guy and a selfless player in regards to your family. You are the ideal man. I know you're not perfect. I know none of us are perfect, you know, but you know, the aiming for perfection is what I think a lot of young men should strive for. My brother, it's always an honor. Thank you for coming onto the show today.
I thank you. I am always absolutely honored by your ability and to digest information, to have the conversation. But I'm more so impressed with your ability to just to be able to pass it on to the next generation. You say you admire me. I always admire I watched you in action when we came to the career fair. I went to the school for the career fair, and the way those kids, they listen to everything you say. The second you walk in, your presence changed. I automatically knew that you were as I saw you, as great to them as I saw you. And I'm so proud of you, man. Everything that I've seen you do in your battles, I've seen it. And I've been blessed to watch your journey. I can't, for the life of me, I'm so humbled that you chose me to have this conversation with you. I can't wait to see the Wise podcast when I flip on ESPN Plus or somewhere, when y'all sitting down having the conversations with athletes, and I'll be like, man, I might even shed a tear. I was like, oh man, I remember my boy Kevin, my boy Mark, they were doing their thing. So I'm looking forward to that, man.
No, of course. Oh yeah, we working, man. We're working, definitely. We're in it for the long haul. I promise you, man. My brother, thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you. Ladies and gents, thank you for tuning in to the Wise Guys Live tonight with my boy, Jon McLeod. The Wise Guys podcast is available on as many streaming platforms that are out there: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Breaker, Castbox, the whole nines, guys. Just look up the Wise Guys podcast and we're there. All right. If you happen to have a question for myself, Mark, or even John, please be sure to DM us on our separate individual accounts. My individual handle is Kevin Anglade, ANGLADE 11. All right. That's Kevin Anglade 11. Mark's is Mark Pruden _ Realtor. All right. Check into his, Paris business, Mark Parrots, as well as he's into real estate heavy as well. He's a realtor now. So, if you need some property out in the greater New York City area, please be sure to contact him. And we truly, truly appreciate y'all. So that is our show for this week and our final Wise Guys Live for this season. We'll be back next season with more Wise Guys Lives. All right. So with that being said, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, this is your boy, Kevin McLeod, and we are joined by our very special guest,
Jon McLeod.
And you've been tuning into the Wise Guys podcast. We'll see you all soon. Take care. My brother, I appreciate you. I'm going to send you a text.
All right, brother. Appreciate that.
Have a great night. Absolutely. God bless. Say hi to the family for me and kiss the babies.
You got it.
All right, brother.
All right, man.